Baka here with another video. If you're looking for my part 2 series to my Evil series, I'll be getting back to that, don't worry. But I've been wanting to put this video out, and I really just need to put why I feel Borderlands 3 sucks. What I'm going to start with is the prequel. I do have a little tiny script to keep me on schedule as far as like timing for this video, but here are a few things that I want to go over for why I feel Borderlands 3 sucks really bad, and I'm extremely frustrated inside really about this. So here we go. The pros that I do find with Borderlands pre-sequel. Let's go over that. Let's go, down the list. Borderlands pre-sequel, it had really good things like weapon fusing and mixing, so you were able to like, if you had two weapons, you can put them together, come out another one, so it's kind of almost mixed stats. You can kind of mix your stats up and you can get a better weapon, or sometimes it's not as good, but there is always, if you put enough weapons in there, there's a higher chance that you'll get a good one. So I always loved that in the pre-sequel. Thought they were bringing that in the Borderlands 3. There's nothing like that in Borderlands 3. The best that we have that's like that is a claimed lost loot. And really, when you get to the high levels, the thing is useless, completely useless. So if anything, that's like a baby bumper to help you as you're scaling up to that level. And then, because whatever drops, you're just going to grab it right there. Like, if it's better than anything you have currently. Because you only really need maybe two or three weapons that are your go-to weapons to get you around this whole game. And I'm going to be ripping about that later too. You got to jump in space in Borderlands pre-sequel. You don't get to do that in fucking Borderlands 3, and it pisses me off. We're in space, we're flying around. Borderlands, pre-sequel and Borderlands 2... Borderlands, the pre-sequel, you were able to kind of just bounce around and everything. And in Borderlands 3, there's all this, these space environments that we go to. And none of them are bouncing, really. We get one that's almost bouncy, but it's not really. It's kind of like using the hover scooter thing that's on the game on Borderlands 3. So, we don't get the same kind of atmosphere. And I really was hoping that they brought that back, but they didn't. Here's some awesome boss fights in Borderlands pre-sequel. They're funny. They're just like Borderlands 2. It doesn't feel forced. The acting is on par. It's really great. Really loved Borderlands pre-sequel. And really, it was made after Borderlands 2. So, kudos to them. They know how to make a good game. So, something fell through on Borderlands 3. So some quick cons about, Borderlands, pre-sequel. There's nothing really to do after you beat the game, because you could just play Borderlands 2 at that point. So you're playing it for the story. But that really was the only cons that I had about the game. That being said, I didn't play it any further after I beat it. But anything that I did play further, there were many bosses that were fun to loot and farm, and there were worthwhile weapons and stuff like that. So I would find myself enjoying it just as much as I enjoyed Borderlands 2 after game. So as we're speaking about Borderlands 2, let's go right to that. Borderlands 2, some pros. There was always something worthwhile for, side missions or cool loot or bosses that were worth, typing in on YouTube to have like a location for like either like an infinity gun. I almost said Infinity Edge. Way too much League of Legends. A Hornet. A Hornet used to mean something, but now it doesn't, especially in Borderlands 3. There were so many so many guns that you could look up, and it would help you, get to the next gun that would be overpowered to help you farm. But nothing was really too overpowered, because the enemies were just as overpowered as you towards that level, and they scaled with you, and the weapons scaled better. So that goes to the next thing. There was many weapons, many locations. That's versus like world drops. You didn't have to farm like one boss until that world dropped it. There was a farm location for that boss that you could farm over and over. You know, which I'll bring up in cons later. You know, the only thing about that is that you had to run back to that area and then farm it again for those things. But that, you know, the next pro, you know, is like I was saying, better damage scaling. So your long hours that you're playing just pays off. You know, in Borderlands 3, it only goes up to like, it doesn't even break 10k. You're just at 1000 something as far as weapons damage, and so you have to just rely on your skill tree to boost your damage at this point, which it really sucks balls really bad. And then there's more weapons that had better uses, more like a one weapon was always good in different situations. So a sniper actually meant something on Borderlands 2. So it's the same thing as Borderlands pre-sequel. You know, assault rifles had their place. Fucking pistols had their place. It's nothing like Borderlands 3, where, you know, you favor a shotgun or, you know, assault rifle. The fast weapons that kind of could fire for a long time. Those are what's favored in Borderlands 3 nowadays. And another thing is just, you know, there was raid bosses that you could, you know, kill and it was worthwhile loot. Here on Borderlands 3, there's a lot of raid bosses and you can kill them, but you know, you got to kill them over and over and over, and they drop different loots or world loots that you could use to equip and have better shields and stuff like that, better protection against stronger enemies. So, you know, Mayhem 3 on true Vault Hunter mode doesn't like kick your ass completely. And not every drop was useless in Borderlands 2. So, you know, you pick up a drop, and unless you were in an area where you know there's going to be something useless, there were sometimes, you know, really good drops that you can pick up, either sell it for something good, or, you know, it was a decent, like, I might keep this weapon. Even you know, even a tier down from Legendary, it was like, oh, I might be able to keep this weapon. Not in Borderlands 3, like, you get really shitty weapons, like, once you get to a higher level. And another thing is, you know, you also had Iridium that was useful in Borderlands 2. In Borderlands 3, once you've gotten the cool 2 or 3 skins that they have on there, like, it's useless. You can get something that's attoned, like an attoned weapon, but even those are useless after you get your legendaries and stuff. And then, you know, you're sticking with your shotgun. So, you know, the acting is so much better in Borderlands 2. It was so bad in Borderlands 3. You know, there was a lack of Claptrap in Borderlands 3. You know, I'll get back to that actually, but, you know, it was just, it just broke my heart, the acting. And then the story and the villains were so great, it was so relatable that they made the pre-sequel Borderlands. So, you know, that really says something, you know, about your fan base, what they want to see. And, you know, everything was so PC in Borderlands 3, and it fucking pisses me off. But anyways, we'll get to that in just a moment. There were some cons with Borderlands 2, of course. Sometimes enemies one-hit you, they were too strong, and so were you, though, at the same time. So not many people complained. They just knew that that's when you pop out the sniper rifle. You know, if you need to hit that enemy that's hitting a little bit too hard. You know, it took a long time for travel on distance. That's something that they fixed in Borderlands 3, which I approve of. There was less area teleports. Here in Borderlands 3, we get a little bit more of that, so they were listening to the fans in that. And then the skill tree was tailored to more of an online player, so more like healing and shit like that. And now we're just going to keep moving on here over to Borderlands 3, just so we can keep this video in a timely manner. But this is going to be a lot, so I'll start with the pros, of course. So, Borderlands 3, you have new weapons, new worlds, love it. There's new worlds, there's not a lot, there's at least 5. I'm not complaining too much because there's a lot of areas within those worlds that you can explore. You know, one con that I'll bring up here that I didn't have written down is that, you know, there's a lot of area to explore, but there's no incentive to do so unless it's something for a mission. And even then, the missions are so annoying that you just want to get through with it to get to the main story, which I've never had that feeling whenever I was playing Borderlands 3. I wanted to, you know, kill everything in the area because it felt like part of the story. Just like whenever, you know, you're protecting that beaker, that beam, from Handsome Jack, so you can, you know, get Sanctuary protected and back, and you could teleport to it. Never got any type of feeling like that. It was just like, protect me. It's like, okay, I guess, so we can get to this next part of the mission. In Borderlands 3. Better traveling system. I went over that, you know, kudos. Great traveling system. It was annoying as fuck, you know, walking everywhere. There were better bug fixes for as far as like car flips and getting stuck. I enjoyed that as well. There was better wave clearing weapons, so, you know, that goes back to good guns. Really like the wave clearing for that. They keep nerfing it and fixing it though, so, you know, I might be back on that. There's a faster leveling system on Borderlands 3, so you didn't have to spend your whole life like to get to level 50 and stuff like that if you played wisely. And then we're going right into the cons, right into the reason I made this video. You know, first con that I'll bring out is that you have to pay money for your weapon inventory. So even when you hit that limit, once you beat the game is the only time you'll actually hit the limit of having max ammo and everything. And even then, it's not enough ammo to beat a huge fucking health boss. When you have the best guns in the game and you're still having, you know, you're running out of ammo and 2 guns to try to beat them on Mayhem 3 in True Vault Soldier mode. So you have to use your whole, you know, thing of weapons to be able to beat them. Really hate that. I brought up, you know, one of these points that I wrote here, you know, nothing to do with Iridium. You can't really do anything with it after the game. It's just there. You could use your useless gun thing that you get later, but, you know, nothing else. You know, bringing back up this, you know, where's Tiny Tina, the old crew? We only get like 1 mission of Tiny Tina and stuff like that. We get 1 mission with Clamptrap in the beginning of the game, and then really it's just an introduction to all these new characters that I don't give a fuck about. Except the one on Prometheus, the girl with the hair. And that's probably just because I'm a sucker for girls that are sexy like that. But, you know, other than that, that's no. Really pissed me off that I didn't see any other, you know, characters that made me want to buy the 3rd one, because I want to see like where they're at, how they're doing. Like, all the DLCs they made for Borderlands 2 were so much better than this fucking Borderlands 3. The stories were better in those DLCs too. They just made this hot garbage game. But moving on, there was nothing else to do after the story besides farm for, you know, to see what other weapons are out there if you're curious enough, or you just don't want to look on Google to see, you know, what the weapons are. You want to use them for yourself. There's nothing really to do after. You could buy the DLC, beat it, and then still have nothing to do after, really. Nothing really gives you that incentive like Borderlands 2, where you would, you know, you would go fight Terramorphous, or I know there was another one that was like a raid boss that came up more recently. You could go there. I know that was a DLC, but, you know, there were raid bosses. Vending machines always have just shit inside of it on Borderlands 3. It's nothing useful. The chests always have shit. There's nothing useful. You have to, you know, even to pick it up to sell it off, it's just not worth your time at that point. The items feel catered to, you know, shotguns, like I was saying. Weapons that fire long over time, even those, you know, don't surpass a shotgun. And the acting in the story, it just sounds forced. I went over that, you know, just really forced acting. Nobody seems like they're enjoying themselves like they did in Borderlands 2. Like, you would see, like, it's almost like, if you ever seen an anime called Panty Stocking, dubbed, you could tell they enjoy back and forth with each other as that voice actors. I don't get that in this. I feel the tension of what happened with 2K, where Claptrap had to go and there was another person that had to go, the original ones, and it seems like everybody's uncomfortable with working with each other at that point. I feel like it's a little bit too PC on for Borderlands 3. Like they're a little scared to let the jokes rip and everything that made us love Borderlands 2. They changed the name from midgets to tanks and stuff like that, which sounds even more insulting. But like they're way too PC. And they, that brings me to another thing. They played off the nostalgia of the old fan base and just gave us more of Borderlands 2, but like a shitty DLC version of it. Because all the DLCs were amazing that I played in Borderlands 2, and this is just like, I played this to see if it would just get better, and then it ended, and I was like, well, this is shit. Like the trailer was. They put the right stuff in there to make it seem like it was hype. As far as critique, what you could have done, Borderlands team, I clearly knew that you had a fourth coming out because of just not only how this ended, but how the actors acted. They were just really done with this and not really used to each other. There was major things wrong here. Like I feel the tension inside your company. You spent all your time on weapons and nothing on the balance or the effectiveness of the weapons towards the story or the mobs that would come. Like none of that was really in your concern. You were just throwing mobs at you, and if you get past this, cool. Like that, there was no real reward feeling. The old characters, are see-through. They have no girth. The story's centered around like player versus like the whole crew in the game, like it used to be. Like it used to be like, come on, Crimson Raiders kind of thing. But now it's just like, come on, Zach or whoever the fuck you end up playing. And then I just feel like it's a truly bad game. It's not like a rating of like a Flash game compared to like a PS4 game kind of bad. It's like, it's a rating as far as like, you've made better than this, and I'm just disappointed. You just put out like hot trash and garbage, and the fans just keep defending it because they have the fan base are either gonna come at them or something, or they're scared, or they're living off nostalgia. But this was truly a bad game, and I'm sure they would agree. Any reviewer, I honestly wish they didn't make this game because I would still have fond memories of the sequel and the regular one. I'm glad they did. I just wish they didn't put out shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm glad you brought me hot cocoa. I just wish you didn't shit in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it seems like all the acting is forced at the end of the day, and the studio, voice actors, they were just too pissy that they have some new company and the new people in the company, and the new people in the company didn't feel welcome there. So they did their best with the acting, but they were just it was just dragging on and on. But that is my rant / review on Borderlands 3. And trust me, I wanted this game to be as good as you guys, wish it was. But it's just hot garbage, and it sucks. And it sucks so much I had to do this, rant / review. But I hope y'all are having a great day. If you have any comments that you want to leave down in the comment box, check it, go ahead. Not scared to reply to you, or, not so much scared, just kind of, pick your mind a little bit. What did you guys think? Did you think this was like a really sucky game? Like, you're welcome to change my mind, but everything that I played through it's just so horrible. But you guys take care, and I will see you in the next video.